You know what's so crazy? I was thinking, the whole cast, like most of the cast of the Richard Pryor show, it's like a lot of bad things have been happening to him. I mean, you might have the one thing with, you know what I mean? Like, listen to, like, I've been putting everything together. All right, now you got Richard Pryor, they kind of, they did something to hit him with injections or something that did get his body like that. Like, we got to think about it now. Yeah, dimensions to his like different levels, man. Think about it. You got Muhammad Ali, a talker. You got Richard Pryor, a talker, and then but they're all proficient and in their fields, and also Maurice White. Something, all three of those people, something crazy just happened to them, like their body just gave out on them or something. But I say like I be feeling like the government has some, like not just the government itself, but entities, because entities only give them like a contract, to be around for a certain amount of time. So if they doing it's so like if our people doing things to not to their liking that'll help us get awoken, they do certain things like to poison people. Like I had my life almost poisoned like a couple times, maybe twice, and I was able to avoid it with the help of the ancestors. Cause I was like looking at something was like, nah, nigga, don't eat that. But I seen it before it happened. But anyway, I'm gonna get back to the whole Richard Pryor thing, the Richard Pryor television showcast. All right, so you have Richard Pryor, right? You know what he had, when his physical was given out on him, and he couldn't even really be able to talk. He was really dropping knowledge too, and his information um, through his comedy. You open people up with laughter, and then you drop the information. Boom, boom, you just hit them, keep hitting them with the information, right? That's what you do when you get them open. Then you got the what do you call them, the chakra system open. You get them laughing, and then you can just drop the information on them to where they can really think. Okay, so you have Richard Pryor. Then who else? We have Robin Williams. I remember he committed suicide a couple years ago. If you remember, like when he first came out, like a lot of his movies were lighthearted, lighthearted. But the longer he went on, he would get into more serious movies. He was. I remember that. I think I'm not sure if I've seen it before. He had this film when he was. Remember when people used to get their film? We used to get it worked on and the film get developed. Like at Eggers or whatever, or Walgreens and all that shit. They would go and get their film developed. So like I think it was he played a guy that held people film or developed it and gave it off. But there was another film he was playing. It was another dark film. So it was like they'd be like, oh look at they could be like, oh look at all they can call somebody crazy because they can build you up just to bring you down. You understand what I'm saying? The whole logic of it with all these groups. 333 just passed. So the groups they'll just I'm not even gonna give them that name because that's an old melanated name. But you have entities that run entertainment and things that go on and make things move. So they build you up just to bring you down. So they'd be like, "Oh, look at his film. The films he was making. It wasn't so lighthearted. It was a lot of dark films. And when those dark films come out, they'll make you, weigh a toll on your personality or who you become out to be." No, they all of a sudden they'll put somebody around you and make it seem like you actually killed yourself, or what I'm saying, like it's just weird like that. And also who we have, um, who was it first? It was Paul Mooney. Paul Mooney. I remember I got to see him like in what was it, 2009 I think, or 2010, for 4 hours. He killed it. Great show. I seen him on DVDs before that. And I used to have it. And next thing I know, I found a way to get to his show, and I bought some tickets and whatnot. And went to the show, had a great time, laughing, had a great time. But Paul Mooney, he's now see now look at this. he's actually being found. Well, nothing came out yet from what I've heard. And it's crazy how I don't watch the news, but the news comes to me. You see what I'm saying? So like, I heard about this maybe a couple weeks ago or so that Paul Mooney was um, brought up on charges supposedly of him having some kind of relationship with Richard Pryor's son. I don't know, I don't believe any of that, you know what I'm saying? But like when, everything comes out, I just know how it is. You know what I'm saying, how they do things, and so when you drop information sometimes they'll hold a whole bunch of stuff over your head like a dark cloud. You know how like it was this book I had found, like when the Jewish people, they would just dump all the stuff out of their pockets. Like it'd be like breadcrumbs or whatever, and they throw it into the water. I forgot the name of it, but they'll throw the breadcrumbs in the water. It's like that bad thoughts or that demons or that sins, and the water just built up so much, and it turns to like this big dragon or whatever out of the water. Same situation with that. You know what I'm saying? What they'll do is they'll just do things like if you've done something like at a party or whatever. Notice Cat Williams, he's talking about those parties. He said they'll do stuff, and then and look what happened to him. He been what was it? What was it? A whole bunch of cases but no convictions. A whole bunch of felony charges but no convictions. Never been to prison. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Paul Mooney, they had recently came up with a charge about that, with him and Richard Pryor's son, and recently, you know what I'm saying, John Witherspoon, Pops, he just passed. He has the whole sexual thing. His thing is, bang, 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 bang. You know what I'm saying? Like when you hear that, that's just like the tantra, the sexual tantra. So he's always talking about getting your groove on, rocking a woman's socks. You know what I'm saying? Same thing. Like we all knew him as like the father that was giving you information in like the movies or whatever, Friday or whatever. But you realize it. They knocked off uh these guys that were on what do you call it? It was like the like in the, like at the time of comedy, they were almost like a Rushmore, but who they really want to be like a real Rushmore, like a Jerry Seinfeld or a Saturday Night Live, when they gotta put these certain people in place, you know what I'm saying, and do certain things, you know what I'm saying. But anyway, but I don't know how they even got together. Like they like writers of these like comedic, geniuses, and they all went on to do their own thing. Powerhouses in their own right. If you look at it and look how all of it just how it kind of like fell apart. Like not fell apart, but like how everything is coming out in different cycles. It's not coming out at the same time, but all these tragic things are happening to this one group of artists. I remember they was talking about having a black president, and look what you know what I'm saying. Richard Pryor was a black president, and then Dave Chappelle did the same sketch on his show, on the Dave Chappelle show, and then look down the line, look what happened. You see what I'm saying? Same thing, and look how when Dave Chappelle went missing. You know what I'm saying? Like for a while, after that whole talking about that dress thing, wearing dresses, and then all of a sudden, he's gone, and he comes back all big and buff. But most cases when they come back like that, I hate to, you know what I'm saying, that's how that people like to say they do some kind of cloning, where they take the original person and take them away and put the clone inside in the space. But that's neither here nor there. We gotta make it do what it do. But yeah, that's my take on things like the whole Richard Pryor show. It's kind of weird how everything is transpiring with everything. I hope Paul Mooney everything is all right with him, because he always drop great information, old information about things that was going on in Louisiana, and that was like a lot of things that was going on with the French. How they was bringing in people, especially with the Haitians and shit. So what I'm saying, he put me on a lot of good stuff, like some of the beginning of my consciousness, like some of the real beginnings. You wipe out them, and all you got left is like some of the tall people in comedy. Is like really, you got like a lot of, in a group wise, is Saturday Night Live. That was like a lot of Caucasian men, people. Like, you don't get to see like that, like from back in that time. Even Bill Cosby, he was cold on drop information back in the day. But I got some that's drop on that too. But peep it. Well, anyway, peace.